I once again saw a tweet that was talking about these covers and how they kind of all look very, very similar. Hi, it's Divya. G, and what does the G stand for? The G stands for... Fiction is such a wide genre that when it comes to book covers, it tends to have the most amount of versatility and variability. Supporting the shelves, you might have noticed this subcategory of literary fiction where it's bold and bright and colorful. Now, I don't know what to call this. There's an article that called it the Starbucks Frappuccino, or I don't know, like I put my white t-shirt in the wash with all my colors and now it looks like a fake DIY tie-dye that I'm gonna sell on Etsy for £5. Maybe a little bit too specific. And so I was looking at this and I was like, okay, yeah, cool, it's Peng, but why? So I created a Pinterest board. I'm like, okay, what are the common elements? Shapes. So this is either going to be cutout designs of humans or random shapes. And another thing that I had in common was like all these colors. So pinks, blues, purples, reds. Basically every single wavelength and visible light spectrum that is like perceptible by the human eye. Title, most likely is going to be a sans serif font, and it's kind of playful. It kind of interacts with the background and the cover art a little bit. But why? Why is it built like that? So I did a bit of Googling and then Google was like, well, babes, it's all marketing, innit? The pandemic brought a pause to in-store browsing. While some of these covers might have caught your attention in the store with its bright dust jackets or with the gold foils and the textures, it's a lot harder to do that on an e-commerce website. When you're going to buy a book, they're basically battling to the death with hundreds of other covers in this really tiny little square. And then because they're flat, they lose any texture that you might see on a physical dust jacket, such as embossing, any sort of metallic or gold foil. And so for that reason, essentially covers kind of have to just try and get your attention as quick as possible. And it also has to scale down well into like a really small icon. Social media creator economy. If you look at Penguin Random House's website, they literally have an article or a list called Instagrammable book covers, and that is all you need to know about where book cover designs are going these days. Let's take a look at the human forms on these covers. Okay, for example, look at these. They're abstract, they're slightly difficult to decipher, and so your eyes kind of linger on it a little bit, and you're like, what is that? Is that a tree? What are these lines? Why are they who in the hell put the muffin in the freezer? Like abstract art, the covers are a way of seeing. And so you start to search for meaning within the shapes. And that is exactly the moment when you become a victim. Because this is exactly what the publishers and the designers want you to do. They want you to look at the cover and go,
that's pretty. Oh, what does that, what?
And before you know it, you've checked out at W.H. Smith and now it's in your bag. Quite a few of these stories do center around sort of marginalized communities. Vanishing half centers around two twins. They're black and one chooses to pass as white and the other doesn't. So as such, this novel explores race and identity and the prevalent inequalities in American society. They share the same color palette but in different parts of the body. So this kind of cleverly symbolizes the fact that they are both distinct individuals with sort of like different paths. So they're separate yet they're linked. Faces slightly merging was very indicative of like the twins and the theme of like identity. So I said, okay, let's create my own shit version then, shall we? I like how on these covers you can't see the details too much of the face because it leaves it an empty vessel for the author to fill in with their description or for the reader's imagination. For this, I use Zendaya for literally no other reason than the fact that she's literally so beautiful, and every time she posts a selfie, like, my astigmatism just fixes itself. I'm just like, listen, I have to trace the outlines of her face, her hair, and her body. And I kind of had to change the hair because I thought that I would end up doing one face upside down, the other face like that. So it'd be easier to seamlessly merge the hairs together in some sort of like flow state. I didn't end up doing that, but anyway. It stopped looking like Zendaya like really quickly. So like, what was the point? And for colors, my thought process behind that was you really just want your cover to scream, be who you are, for your pride. I wanted the two girls to be the main focus and subject of attention, so I was like, background, you're gonna have to take a back step here. So I just chose whatever color doesn't draw too much focus away from that. In the design community, there is this new gradient noise trend going on. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, let's put that in the What I did was I just played around for like a couple of minutes until I found something that I thought decent. Yeah, so I made this like at 1 in the morning, and the only thing in my head was like that TikTok sound that's like, you look like a
garbage rat. You look like you crawled out a sewer and the infestation, and you look like garbage.
So, boom. My little friend Remy here, I had to dissect him a little bit less conspicuous, a leaf, but it's actually a rat. Who's gonna know? Only us two. I drew some wood grain lines and then I messed around with the opacity. The title was gonna be Bright Faces with Blobs. I spent a good 30 minutes looking up kerning and typography and playing that kerning game, because a lot of times whenever I make these book covers, I kind of just like slap the title on top. But if you're gonna be doing this for real, you know, and your typography is gonna take center stage, the title and the background has to work together in a union. And not like a group project where just one person, me, ends up doing all the work and everyone else puts their name on it. But I digress. Here we go. This is my
I love graphic design, is my passion.
version compared to the serious, probably educated professionals who have been designing for like over 10, 20, 30 years. Yeah, that's it. If you've read any of this, hit me up with recommendations. But before you do leave, if you could either like or subscribe or turn the bell notifications on, or comment, really does help support the algorithm, which helps my channel, which helps support me as a creator to do this. If you have suggestions of other cover design things that you've noticed or seen, or you want me to do them, and also follow me on the Twitter and the Instagram and the TikTok if you want to. Yeah. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Oh, hugs. Okay. I smell a bit this time. It's fine. Yeah. Be who you are for your pride. I'm gonna go. Boop. These book covers are like the is it cake trend, right? On the outside, you're like, oh shit, cake, delicious. I want. You cut it open, bam, it's worms. It's like, I don't know. It's a kidney bean. It's a kidney bean salad. It's ramen. It's made out of styrofoam. I do love the style of the title and the cover art playing together. Sounds weird.